Hi everyone, I'm Kevin Smith, your town manager, and I'm joined today by our fire chief and also our emergency management director, Darren O'Brien, and also our chief of police, Bill Hart. And we're here just to provide you with some updates and some helpful tips and guidance as we all go through the coronavirus pandemic together. So with that, I'll turn it over to Chief O'Brien.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Good afternoon, everybody. As you can tell, this is unprecedented times that we've seen nothing like this, in our history. And what we're trying to do as a town here by, shutting down the schools, shutting down the churches, the senior center, and, other businesses within town is to practice that being at home, staying away from people, and try and get on top of this for Londonderry leading the way to do that. I just want to talk about, the social distancing. Everybody's been, that's the new buzzword that's out there now for 6 feet away from people. And the reason they're telling you that is the particles that are coming from the COVID-19 virus. If somebody was to cough, the weight of that virus falls to the ground within 6 feet of people. So that's where the 6 foot mark comes in. Again, so practicing social distancing is very, very important. Practice good hygiene, washing your hands, keeping your hands out of your face, your eyes, your nose, your mouth. And if you touch a strange surface, make sure you wash your hands after you've done such. Clean and disinfect, surfaces, around your home, your doorknobs, your countertops, handles for your commodes or anything like that. Just this cleaning process and what people are trying to express to everybody out there is going to be I think the hurdle in getting over this. Stay away from large gatherings. I think, like I said, the town is taking the right steps, and we were one of the first communities in the state to do what we did, and we're trying to do that to protect the people of our community. Again, it doesn't mean just because schools are closed and the senior center's closed that we're going to go up to the recreation court and have a 10-on-10 basketball game. That's not what we're trying to profess here, and that's not what we're trying to put out. So the social gathering, the governor just came out, I think 2 days ago now, where that number is 10 people. Basically, any more than 10 people, they're recommending that you don't do so. Big thing for the first responders, and I'm going to speak for Police Chief Hart as well, is to let us know, let your first responders know if you are under quarantine, if you have been tested, if you're pending test results for the COVID-19 virus. Let us know as emergency responders. We are not going to treat you any differently. It's just going to give us the ability to protect ourselves before entering your home. You will still be treated just like any other patient is treated. You will be transported to the hospital just like any other patient is transported to the hospital. But understand that if we don't know this information, it puts our emergency services at risk. And between our two departments, I think that we probably have 100, maybe a little over 100 employees. And with the way the shifts work, you don't understand how quick that could infect, our people throughout the building. So I ask if you. So I'm gonna change the buzzword a little bit. If you know something, say something. Call your local fire department, call your local police department, and let us know if you know of somebody that's either under quarantine, been tested, has tested positive, so we know and we can wear the proper PPE upon entering that dwelling. Some of the different online information I have is obviously the newhampshire.gov/COVID-19. There's a bunch of information on there on the virus, and then obviously the www.cdc.gov gives you a bunch of information on this virus and what to look for, how to do your proper cleaning, your social distancing, and everything like that. If you're experiencing symptoms, don't just rush to the hospital. Don't just rush to the urgent care. What they're telling people to do is if you're experiencing symptoms, contact your local PCP, and if you don't have a PCP, contact your urgent care, and they will give you guidance on what to do from that point on. They don't want an influx of people just coming to the hospital that think they're experiencing symptoms but maybe not. They are not testing any asymptomatic people. So what that means, if you feel that you have the virus but you're not showing any symptoms, you will not be tested. And what this is doing is putting a strain on the testing entities within the state. And now, for instance, for first responders, what it's doing is it's making our test results for when we have somebody that has been exposed or unprotected exposure, is moved that up from 24 hours now to 4 to 7 days before we know about it. So that's a big problem. So again, if you're experiencing some symptoms, contact your PCP. If you don't have a PCP, contact your local urgent care or emergency room, and they will give you directions on what to do from that point on. As of today, we have 115 cases in the state of positive COVID-19. We have 42 cases within Rockingham County. So we are the hub of the largest amount of cases in the state. So in saying that, again, social distancing. Don't invite people over from out of state. Don't invite people over from out of town right now. We are trying to, as a community, and it's our responsibility here, to make you folks as safe as possible and as healthy as possible and make it through this. And what the town manager and the town council always says is Londonderry leads that way. I want to lead that way in keeping this community safe. So I'm going to turn it back over to Town Manager Smith, and we can go from there.
Thank you, Chief O'Brien. Chief Hott.
I don't want to take up too much time. I want to reiterate, though, some of the things that Chief O'Brien said by telling you what we're doing at the Londonderry Police Department to keep you safe and in doing so keep our officers safe. About 2 weeks ago, we began to limit contact with people to emergency or critical incident calls only. We began to limit our traffic stops to emergency calls only. In doing so, we hope to practice that social distancing, which will keep you safe and also keep the officers who are working for your safety on the job. Internally, we've taken a number of steps. We've changed our uniform. And the reason we changed our uniform to our Class Cs, which is that black uniform, you can see it on Facebook. We've posted some information regarding that. It's been viewed a number of times over the past few months. The reason we're doing that is so we can wash the uniforms of the officers after every shift to make sure that this virus, which can last up to 2, possibly 3 days on clothing, doesn't get any further. So officers are changing their emergency equipment, their uniforms, every day. Internal to our police department, we are practicing social distancing, which, as you can imagine, is probably as difficult as it is for you. We're a tight-knit family, much like the fire department. We work closely together. We work side by side oftentimes, and so it's hard for us to spend the time 6 feet apart when we want to talk to each other or help somebody through a problem. We're also sanitizing everybody who comes into the building. So if you come in, which should be a rarity because we're asking that you call first, but if you have to come in the building, we're asking that you sanitize first. What does that mean? Either wash your hands using that 20-second guide rule, which is happy birthday twice, or we have hand sanitizer out there, at least 60% alcohol, which will kill the COVID-19 virus that infects people. I guess that's really it from my perspective. I'd leave you with this, though. In this social distancing, what we're really doing is coming together as a community. How are we doing that? We're making sure that each of us is safe. This isn't about me alone or you alone. It's about those we love and those who are potentially in jeopardy. I live with my 91-year-old dad. As you can imagine, being 91, he has every kind of pre-existing medical condition you could come up with for a 91-year-old fella. If I get sick, he gets sick. And he probably dies. Think about that. It's not just about you, it's about all of us. This is a time for us to come together. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief. And I'll just wrap up, folks, by giving you a little bit of information about Town Hall. As most of you are aware, we closed the physical building of Town Hall a couple of weeks ago, but operationally, we're still open right now. We're doing car registrations, we're doing building permits, building inspections. We're still reviewing plans in the planning department. A lot of this is taking place online, over the phone, via the internet. There's a whole lot you can do online. You can still conduct business online with Town Hall, or you can pick up the phone and call us as well, 432-1100. Someone will pick up the phone if you just put in the proper extension that you're looking for, and we'll make sure we get back to you within a day or so. So email us, call us. We are still conducting business at Town Hall. We want to help you out with any of your questions, any of your needs. Meetings, we're still planning on having most of our meetings taking place in April. We're figuring out the best way to do that right now to comply with the governor's executive orders on 91A, to make sure that the meetings are still as transparent as possible, and to make sure that you, the public, have access to those meetings and can ask questions at those meetings. If we can't figure out a way to do that, we're simply not going to have those meetings, or we'll continue those meetings, because we want to make sure the biggest part of those meetings is making sure the public has access, the public can ask questions, and so we're working on ways to figure out and do that for all of our April meetings, not just the town council, that's ZBA, that's planning, any public meeting that would take place. Sad news, the recreation courts and fields are closed until further notice. We didn't want to have to do this. Unfortunately, some folks just weren't using common sense and they weren't practicing the 6 feet social distancing rule. So we've determined that the best course of action at this time is to close off those courts. We feel badly doing it because we want people to be able to get exercise, get some fresh air. You can still do that in your own yard, around your neighborhood. The trails in the Musquash and the rail trail are still open at this time. Just be smart about it, people. Use common sense. Don't run on top of one another. Don't walk on top of one another. Spread out when you're doing these activities. So still get out there and exercise, but we did want to at least let you know that the rec courts and the playground are closed until further notice. Lastly, we're getting a lot of requests of people volunteering to help in any way they can, which is fantastic. If you want to volunteer, call 432-1100 extension 120. You can talk to Kirby Wade, leave her a message. She's compiling a list of all of our volunteers. And if you need help with groceries, doing errands, whatever, let us know that as well. We'll set you up with a volunteer, someone that can assist you with those needs. So call us about those things too. If you know of someone, if your neighbor next door needs help, be certain to make sure you let us know. Between all of the collective resources that we have in town, we know that we'll be able to help them out. You've heard it many times, but we are all in this together. We're all going to get through this together, and knock on wood, this will be over with by the summertime, and we will have one of the greatest Old Home Day celebrations to look forward to in August. So again, thank you for your cooperation. Be watching the internet, the website. We have a COVID-19 update page on our website. If you don't have access to the internet, just follow the local government TV stations, which are running ads all day about what numbers to call if you need help. Again, thank you for your cooperation, and stay safe.